Welcome to the Oddity Shop, where the bizarre is always on sale.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Oddity Shop. I am Zach, sitting here with Kara Parakovic.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Good. It feels like we haven't done this in a while.
I know. We were like
Has it
every
been 2
week.
weeks?
I think it's been 2.5 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good thing we got ahead.
It feels strange.
Right? It's kind of nice to get back to it. I like seeing your face. Although I got to see your face a lot in person. But before we get into all that, welcome to our podcast where we talk about the weird, creepy, paranormal, conspiracies, cults, anything but strange.
Bizarre shit.
Sometimes murder. And yeah, we're gonna put our own 2 cents in. We're gonna get it right sometimes, but let's be honest, most of the time we're gonna get it wrong. So bear with us. But at least on the fact end, if you want to check us, all of our references will be down in the show notes.
You got it.
How was the wedding?
Oh, it was good. It was very, it was chaotic because it's a lot. I mean, it was, it was just a really big wedding, but it was a lot of fun. It went by really fast. Like the week that I was there went by really fast. I barely even talked to you while I was there. I barely even talked to my husband because the time difference doesn't seem like it's a lot because it's 3 hours, but it really adds to so many different things. Like when I was ready to calm down and like be like, oh, okay, I can make my calls to everybody. It was like late here. So it's like you guys were sleeping or whatever. And I'd be like, okay, well, it's only, I don't even know.
You were so radio silent that at one point, I think I threatened to put out an Amber Alert and that I was going to go start putting missing person posters up. Because Kara, you guys don't know this. She blows me up all the time and I love you for it. But after 2 days of actually not hearing from you, I'm like, she fell off like a cliff or something.
Well, I wouldn't say that I blow you up, but we talk to each other regularly, daily. We don't text all day. Like, we're not that type of people. That's not me. But you and I will frequently like send text messages throughout the day, but we do usually always call each other like once a day. And you're the only person I do that with. And then obviously I text my husband and call him and stuff. But
yeah, but once we're getting to like day 3, I'm like, she did. I thought I was going to get to do an episode. The girl who disappeared at her brother's wedding. It
was so much fun. I still have to get a lot of the pictures and put them up on my social media and stuff because it was a lot of fun. It was a whirlwind and it went too fast. And then you're like, it's over. And then I've already been back home for over a week now. It's crazy.
That's insane.
Yes, it is. What about you?
Let's see. While you were gallivanting over on the West Coast, I had a really good weekend. Nick came out here for the weekend. What did we do? I feel like we did a lot. We went to Pride, and that was fun. I think we were only there for a couple hours, though, but enough to go and say we did it this year.
I was going to say, I think you told me you were there for like 2 hours or something. Nothing too crazy. Or maybe it was more.
Yeah, no, it was only about probably 2 hours. Then we went to the apartment and grabbed a drink, which is Michigan's oldest gay bar.
Wait, what year did it open? Do you know?
Not off the top of my head, but I do know it's the oldest.
That's so cute. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'll have to take you next time you're out here. It's kind of a fun place.
Well, just to go and say that you went is like cool.
Yeah, then we went out to Lowell.
Cute.
And then, okay, so the next day, we went to the zoo. And let me tell you about this. So the Grand Rapids Zoo, you can it goes, like the front gate is at the bottom of a hill, and then the zoo goes up a hill. Or, if you're lazy like me, you can take the funicular train right from the gate up to the top of the hill and walk your way down.
Okay.
So I haven't been in years, but we got like a water bottle at the top that like features one of the animals in the zoo. And we had
what animal?
The pygmy hippo.
Oh!
So we kept like the whole time we're so excited. We call them Pygmo, pygmy hippo.
God, I love it.
And we're so excited to see him. We finally did. He was very cute. And this zoo is wild. Like,
what's his name? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Oh.
But like, unlike like bigger zoos, like this one, I could have stolen a penguin if I wanted. The bears are like behind a chain link fence. At one point, we just saw one of the workers with a wagon full of tortoises, like taking them to a new exhibit.
This doesn't seem...
Okay. Hold on. So we went out to dinner later that day, and our waiter's like, so what are you guys doing the rest of your day? We're like, oh, we're kind of like, wrapping up. We went to the zoo earlier. Nick had never been to the Grand Rapids Zoo. He's like, yeah, it's kind of a wild zoo. And the waiter's like, oh, did you hear about what happened?
What happened?
We're like, no, obviously, but we're like, we wouldn't be surprised if there was an incident. So they had brought this 7-year-old gazelle in from California.
Oh, do I want to hear this?
They put it in the same cage as the pygmy hippo, who are mostly herbivores, mind you.
Yeah, but they will attack.
Yeah.
Hippos attack.
Yeah. Within an hour, Pygmo had killed this gazelle, but because, he's basically an herbivore, we found out that our favorite animal was just a cold-blooded killer. This is actually really disturbing to me. Like, how is this place actually even licensed and running? I'm not sure. But if you want to go to a place where you could possibly steal a meerkat and or a penguin, you should hit up the Grand Rapids Zoo sometimes.
I don't know if I would tell people that because it might happen and then we're going to have wild animals running about, or they're just going to end up dead because people don't know how to take care of them.
Right.
But clearly the zoo doesn't know how to take care of them either. So maybe steal them.
Just don't steal Pygmo. He's a cold-blooded killer. But that's about it. That's all I really got for you.
God. Okay, I have a question.
I was going to give you so much crap if you didn't, because I feel like I've been having to pull questions out of you. I'm proud that you're prepped.
Okay, I think I know your answer, because I think this would mostly be anyone's answer. But I need you to think of the worst possible scenario of either one of these options. Okay, so would you rather spend an entire night in a coffin underground, or spend the night in a haunted hotel? But it's like the worst of the worst haunted hotels. Oh, like it's not just like you'd still pick hotel.
Hotel. I'm so claustrophobic. Yeah. I couldn't do that. And after our Buried Alive episode,
I know
where the one guy, like, they put him in there and then we're holding him for ransom, but they did it.
Oh yeah, the hostage.
Yeah. What? Yeah. One was that? That was episode 15. 15 is a good one if you want to hear about being buried alive.
Or if you don't, because it's disturbing.
I'm guessing you're a hotel too, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, but I think you'd have to tell me what hotel, what all has happened there. I'd have to know exactly what's happened to everybody else that's been there, and then I would make my decision. Because if I'm getting ripped out of bed and being thrown into walls and shit like that and scratched and choked.
At least you can move your arms around.
Yeah, but then I might honestly spend the night in a coffin.
Oh my God, you're crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Good thing I don't have to pick.
All right. Now tell me why you asked that question.
Oh, it has nothing to do with anything. I just had to randomly Google a question real quick because I saw your eyes looking at me like you were waiting for me to not have a question. So I just wanted to have one.
All right. So what are we talking about then? That's my question for you. Oh,
well, I'm not going to tell you.
Wait, one last thing. Right before we started recording, I just watched a movie trailer, and you're going to be not excited about it, and then you're going to get excited about it. Have you ever played or seen kids play the game Five Nights at Freddy's? It's like a stupid horror game. It's kind of like a play on Chuck E. Cheese, but the animatronics are trying to kill you the whole time. Oh. I know you wouldn't know. Most people who game at all would know with this one, but they're making it into a movie. And my boy, Josh Hutcherson, is the main character, but your boy, Matthew Lillard, is also in it. And
then I'm watching
It's the same producers as Megan. So we know it's going to be like campy, though. Like campy horror.
But anything with Matthew Lillard in it, sign me up, baby.
I know, that's what I had to tell you. Okay, now go.
Okay, so we're going to Mount St. Helens in Sacramento County. I think that's how you say it. Nobody kill me. Washington. I was just in Washington, so I felt like this was fitting. Are you ready?
Did I tell you I went down like a Mount St. Helens rabbit hole about 2 months ago, and I got like obsessed with volcanoes for a minute, so I'm so ready.
Okay, well, on March 27th, 1980, there were a series of volcanic explosions and pyroclastic flows. A pyroclastic flow are a fast-moving current of hot gas and volcanic matter that flows along the ground away from a volcano.
Can I just say, I am so proud of you. How many times did we practice the word pyroclastic?
I didn't.
Wow.
Scamania. I had to.
You know what, though? You're 1 for 2.
So this is terrifying to me. All natural disasters are, but I don't know why. It doesn't ever seem real to me when people talk about volcanoes. Like erupting, and it doesn't seem real. It seems like dinosaur times.
Or like something that would happen halfway across the world.
Right. Nothing that I would have to think about. It just makes me feel uncomfy. So now we're going to cut to May 18th. At 8:32 in the morning, a series of phreatic blasts occurred. So this occurs when magma heats groundwater or surface water. And these temps can reach up to 500 to 1,170 degrees Celsius, or 930 degrees Fahrenheit to 2,100 degrees Fahrenheit. So hot as shit.
Yikes.
Essentially, instantaneously, the water will evaporate and turn into steam. So this will result in an explosion of steam, water, ash, rock, and volcanic bombs. According to the Volcanic Explosivity Index, or the VEI, this was a 5 on a scale of 1 to 7.
Okay, so this is like almost as bad as it gets.
Yeah, so basically at this point, at least, they said it was the most significant one in the United States at the time.
Okay.
So this horrific disaster resulted in 57 deaths, and at the time it was estimated to be 1.1 billion in property damage, and now it would be calculated to about 3.9 billion. And this also caused ash to be deposited into 11 surrounding states and 5 Canadian provinces. So just crazy. And actually, it's like weird because you and I were just talking about your air quality.
Right? Yeah.
Can you imagine 11 surrounding states and like Canada?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm dealing with the wildfires from Canada right now, and it's been hazy here for days. I can't even imagine.
I don't know. I just think that would be so scary.
Right. Ooh. No, thank you.
And just weird. It's not real. I just don't think it's real. Okay. So that's all of that. Do you want to add anything about your deep dive for volcanoes? Volcanoes?
Yeah. So, I mean, so this is when the mountain blew its entire top, right? Yeah. Okay. So 10% of the mountain actually went. That is incredible to think of.
It's not real.
It is real.
I know, but it doesn't. I know it did, but it just doesn't feel real.
It's insane because it was bulging for so long before it too. All these people just knew something was coming. But I have more to add to it. I want to see where you go first, though, because I don't want to step on anything.
Well, is it more about the volcano?
No, I mean, yeah, it is, but not directly about the volcano.
Oh, because I'm about to. If it's volcanic facts, I'm moving on from the volcano. So.
No, not volcanic facts.
Okay. All right. So natural disasters bring a lot, right? They obviously bring sorrow with all the death, destruction. They can also bring out love and community. The greatness of humanity can really show during these times. But do you know what else they can also bring out? Unknown creatures.
Oh.
Cryptids, if you will.
Okay, shit. Okay, then I'm going to add a few things about the volcano. First of all, insanity, because the local governments on the area told people not to evacuate more than just a few miles around the volcano.
See, and that's why natural disasters freak me out, because you don't really know. And why are people so stubborn about it?
You look to officials to give you, hope, but they didn't want all the farms to shut down. The fact that only 57 people died during this is insane. Also, really.
Actually, I was going to note that. It's kind of wild, actually.
Yeah. So there was 2 big rival news companies too who were following it. And I think this is insane. They finally told this one reporter who lived 100 miles away, or hundreds of miles away, just go home, it's obviously not going to blow or whatever, blah, blah, blah. He wakes up in the middle of the night because he had this feeling that he just no idea where it came from, that the volcano was going to blow. He drives hundreds of miles to it and catches it, then realizes he's stuck in the exact exploding zone. His survival story is absolutely incredible. But the whole thing is he's a news guy, so he has video of the whole thing. It's intense to watch. You should watch it. You'd love it. Okay.
No, I wouldn't love it.
Tell me about the creatures.
Okay. So woods, caves, deep seas, mountains, volcanoes are the perfect living quarters for the unknown. And until they're forced to make an appearance, they can stay under the radar for years. You know how I feel about this. There is just so much undiscovered out there that I will never say something doesn't exist.
Yeah. You are never the skeptic.
I just can't be. I feel selfish. Just when people are they're not aliens. I'm how selfish can you be to think that we're the only living things on a planet?
Yeah.
Idiots. Just kidding. If you don't believe, you don't believe. You're not an idiot. Okay.
I'll stand up for my aliens all day, every day.
Right. All right. So after the Mount St. Helens natural disaster, there was more than just cleanup and reconstruction to deal with. Through the ash clouds near the eruption site, stories of a beast-like creature flying about started to spread. Witness stated seeing an ape-like creature with large wings and glowing eyes. And at the time, even though there was many witnesses that did come forward about these claims, there really wasn't any proof.
So you're
Nobody
telling me
actually
we
had
have
proof.
long-winged or big, oh my God, I can't speak. I'm getting excited. A big winged creature with glowing eyes around a disaster? Yes. I'm here for it. Sorry, it's giving me Mothman.
I put that in my notes farther down. So essentially, like I was just saying, there were quite a few people that were like saying that they're seeing this creature flying or hovering, whatever you want to call, around the eruption site, right? But nobody really has like proof. And then it kind of seemed to stop. So you can say that it's like, okay, so the excitement of it or like what people thought they were seeing stopped, or it found somewhere else to go to, whichever way you want to swing it. But 14 years later would be the next time that the creature would be seen. So in 1994, in a wooded area of Pierce County, Washington, Brian Canfield was driving home. According to the report, he was miles away from civilization. During his drive, his car suddenly stopped. Basically, it was like it froze, like it stopped, wouldn't go. So as he's trying and failing to get the pickup truck to keep starting, he's about to open the door and go out of his car to kind of see if he could fix what's going on. And like a scene in a horror movie, Brian is probably really annoyed at this point, trying to get out of his truck. And we can all envision this. So, you know, like when your car is parked, your lights are on, it's like darker, and you can see that something has walked in front of your headlights.
Yeah.
Like you can picture what I'm saying. Okay.
Like you can really only see that the light's kind of dimmed, but not
right.
Okay.
Yes. So as he's about to get out of the truck, he notices that. And then he kind of looks and he sees something like swoop in front of the headlights.
Ugh.
So thinking rationally, because he's kind of deep in a wooded area, he's like, it's a large bird. Whatever. However, a monster type thing landed on the hood of his truck. This gives me, what's that movie?
Jeepers.
Yeah, Jeepers Creepers.
Yes.
You know, like when it's like on the bus and it's like on that. Oh, it gives me that. Oh!
Doesn't it like lick the windshield when it looks at the one kid?
Ew, it does of the bus.
Yeah.
Oh God, I forgot about that part.
It's such a campy scene, but it's horrifying because like everyone's like pointing at themselves like me, and it shakes its head no, and it's finally like the last one,
Ew,
and then it like
yes. Oh God, ew. All right, so it landed on the hood of his truck, and it was described. He was kind of saying that it was 9 feet tall. I never understand how people know what the measurements of these things are when they see them, because I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I wouldn't know. I just would never know what something is. I
feel like your story would just get taller every time you told it, too.
Right. I mean, everybody's would.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. All right. So he's saying it's about 9 feet tall. He was saying that it had the face of a bat and wings attached to a human-like body, and it was covered in a bluish fur. It had large fangs and red glowing eyes. So in an interview that he gave with the News Tribune of Tacoma, Washington, this is Brian's quote, what he stated. It was standing there staring at me, like it was resting, like it didn't know what to think. I was scared. It raised the hair on me. I didn't feel threatened. I just felt out of place. It's looking right at me, like in a deep stare, like right through me. It's standing perfectly still. It stood for how long? A few minutes? Several minutes? Then its fingers twitched and its wings began to unfold. The wings were as wide as the road. It turned its head and looked back at me and started flapping its wings. A few minutes later, the truck just started. I took off as fast as I could. And this is where I wrote, this is giving Mothman vibes.
Oh, 100%.
Even though I find this, it is a natural disaster that brought out this creature, but this is 14 years later. So I was trying to see if there was any other disasters or things that like would be like Mothman prophecy vibes,
right.
Like, you know, but I couldn't really find anything.
Maybe this thing was just living under the mountain.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Probably in a
this
big
volcano.
old cave like a bat would. His home got destroyed.
Absolutely. Okay, so C.R. Roberts was the one that had interviewed Brian about this, and after the interview, Roberts coined the name Bat Squatch.
Yes.
Having a Sasquatch-like body and a bat face. This only made sense, ladies and gentlemen.
I love how they both just kind of stare at each other too in like fear. Like,
well, I think they're both probably like, what the fuck are you? What are you?
Right.
Are you trying to hurt me? I'm not trying to hurt you. Okay. Like, it's like a standoff.
It's like when I go to take the trash out at night and the bunnies freeze and we just kind of stare at each other like, who's going to move first?
Yes.
Not that I'm scared of bunnies. I just don't want to scare the bunny.
So after that interview came out, more encounters came pouring in from the locals. Again, it could kind of be like maybe they never stopped. Maybe all through those 14 years, like people were seeing it. They just didn't want to come out and make claims. Who knows? You know, it's kind of like other episodes, you know, Boggy Creek Monster or whatever. People didn't want to come out because they were embarrassed. They didn't want to, you know, be made fun of, things like that. So who knows if it was going on this whole time or if he just popped back up.
Okay.
Okay. So Butch Whitaker, a local liquor store owner, came forward to say that during a daytime flight he took on his private plane over the same area that Brian had experienced his truck stalling, Bat Squatch flew beside him for several minutes.
He's lucky that plane didn't stop.
Until he eventually just flew off. Can you imagine?
And it's like, you're in a plane. What are you going to do? Where are you going to go?
Not that you can't do anything. I can't fathom that.
I'd poop my pants.
Okay, so then in 1998, a truck driver that wished to stay anonymous allegedly hit Bat Squatch while driving through North Oregon.
Not Bat Squatch.
I know. Every time I say Bat Squatch, it's like kind of hard to say. Bat Squatch. Okay, so he stated that the creature was 15 feet tall with a purple nose and eyes with tiny wings. So a little bit different than what Brian was saying. And I mean, the liquor store guy didn't even really give too much of a description, but that is a little bit different. But I guess you could say bluishy, purpley hair could kind of be like that gray maybe color. That's kind of
like when you mix your Superman ice cream to be all one color.
Yeah. So maybe he's like that. But in 2009, a group of hikers claimed to see a flying humanoid with bat-like features. They described it as stocky as Hulk Hogan.
That's hilarious.
He's
kind of built like a Squatch.
I know, with leather. I can't even talk because I'm picturing Hulk Hogan with leathery wings, 15 feet tall, and a face of a bat.
Okay.
So kind of the same, like they all kind of have the same variation of what this thing looks
15
like.
15 feet tall is huge.
I know, but that's why it's like Brian was saying 9 feet tall and it was on his truck. I think you would have a better idea of how big it is because it's on your truck.
Yeah.
And the driver hit it and he also said 15 feet tall though too. But these people are watching it from in the air. I don't know if you would have a good like idea of.
You're just guessing.
Yeah. 2011. A man had been in his yard. He was kind of walking his dog, letting his dog do his thing. He bent over to pick up his dog and he noticed something flying above. And he was quoted saying, "I saw something flying in the sky. It had bat wings, blue fur, and had a face similar to eyes glowing red. It was about 9 feet tall, and at least after I watched it, it just flew away."
Creepy. It's given such Mothman vibes.
It really is. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think so far?
I think it's Mothman's cousin. I just think look at where all these things come from too, like the wildest cryptids and stuff. They always come from like mountain areas, like the oldest parts of the United States. We have no idea what could actually be in there. Well,
that's what I was kind of saying. It's like until something happens, like a natural disaster, they're forced out. Like you don't usually see these things.
Right.
They don't really want to be seen. Like they're just minding their own damn business. Okay, a Reddit user by the name of High Strangeness wrote, "I saw Bat Squatch. I've never shared this before, but when I was 5, I saw 3 Bat Squatches."
Oh.
Do you think it's Bat Squatches or Bat
Squatches?
Bat Ski? Bat Squatch? Whatever.
We'll go with Squatches.
My family lived in... That's how he wrote it, or they wrote it, so I'm just going to say 3 Bat Squatches. My family lived in Montana. I was playing outside looking at things with my binoculars. I started looking at the clouds and noticed a black circle super high in the sky just hanging there. It almost looked like 3 objects circling. But the more I watched, it was getting closer and closer. My gut said run. I grabbed my siblings and ran under a tree in the yard to watch 3 gorillas with wings fly over us. It was so freaking scary and surreal. The best I can relate to how it looked was like Goldar from the Power Rangers. I can't think of what is...
I was never a big Power Ranger kid.
I was, and I need to look that up. I meant to. Goldar from the Power Rangers minus the gold armor.
I don't know.
First off, I don't trust anybody that was 5 years old.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember nothing. But I guess if you were...
How are you at 5 grabbing your siblings?
I was thinking that too, but also, I guess if you saw gorillas flying in the sky at any age, you probably would remember that.
Let's go straight to the flying monkeys from Wizard of Oz.
Oh, I do know what Goldar looks like. Okay, yeah, this is actually a pretty good description.
Okay, yeah, that's a flying gorilla.
Yeah, creepy. I have one last encounter, and it's really long, but I am going to read the full thing to you guys because I want everyone to be the judge of this, because I feel like either you have too much detail, it's fake, or you have not enough detail and it's fake.
Ooh,
But this sometimes
we're like
this is one where I'm like, I don't know. This is like, I don't know.
Tell me.
Let me take a drink.
Sorry, I'm always here for a cryptid story.
I know. Okay. The Believer, as they signed off after they wrote into Batsquatch.com, title, A Bat Squatch Encounter, received February 3rd, 1998. It was a dark and stormy night. I had taken a fall and landed not too far from the edge of a cliff. Being knocked out, I don't know how long I had laid there, perhaps 3 or 4 hours. My watch had been torn off by the fall along with most of my gear. I was barely conscious when I heard a loud, deep, bass-like yell from the air. The sound was accompanied by a semi-truck horn from below the cliff from which had almost rolled off hours earlier. So basically the cliff that he had almost fell off, that's where he saw. Okay. I gazed below, trying to focus my eyes to see clearly. My head pounded from the fall I had taken. It was impossible to realize that the next few moments would change my life forever. What I saw, I kept secret for many years, mainly because I had a good job and I didn't want to lose it. Perhaps I shouldn't have kept silent. My silence has caused the death of so many animals and put a town at risk. At risk of what? I'll let you be the judge. I will not come out and let you know my name. However, I will tell you what happened that night and the following days. You can be the judge. I was able to witness a logging truck filled full of Douglas Firs. What is that?
Douglas Firs.
Firs, thank you.
They're Christmas trees.
Oh, okay. So whatever. So the truck is full of these Christmas trees?
Or, I mean, it could be logging. They could be much bigger, but they're pine trees.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so he filled with these, hit a large object in the middle of a narrow dirt logging road. I thought it was a large stump at first sight, but the object upon being struck bounced into the air, almost flying, then fell into the canyon below. It was strange because I could have sworn the object was purple and had wings.
Weird.
But I attributed the color to my blood-stained glasses and the wings to my inability to see very clearly at the moment. What I did see was a cloud of dust from the semi as its brakes were applied, the driver attempting desperately to miss the object in the road. At first, the truck slid headlong into the object. Then, as the truck hit the thing, it must have dazed the driver of the truck because the long semi abruptly swung left, hitting the cliff wall, then jackknifing.
Oh, no.
Doesn't this, make you sweat?
Yeah.
The rear of the trailer still sliding slowly as it swung precariously near the edge of the right side of the road, 100 feet above the steep, rocky, walled valley below.
Oh, that gives me anxiety just thinking about it.
This is what I'm saying. Then, as if in slow motion, the dirt road under the rear of the trailer gave way and the rig slowly started moving, falling, trailer first, over the edge of the road. It was as if something had clutched the back of the trailer and pulled it over the side of the logging road. I desperately tried to see through the cracked windshield of the semi before it too followed the rest of its trailer over the edge of the road. Always I will remember the sound of the twisting metal as the truck slid down the valley cliff and crashed to the bottom. There was no explosion, no fire, just the sound of metal scraping against rock and echoing off the canyon walls. Few moments later, only silence and a small cloud of dust rose from the valley below. I couldn't see where the truck ended. It slid down the rocks. It had disappeared below the steep sides of the canyon. The forest was eerie. All of the things a person could think of after such a terrible accident. What I remember the most is the silence of the forest. There was no wind, no sound of birds, nothing. It was as if time had stopped. the forest had ceased to be alive.
Okay, few thoughts on that, right? Like if you're a critter in the woods and you hear all that noise, you're gonna stop moving too, thinking your life's in danger.
Oh, for sure. I mean, usually when stuff like that happens, everything does get so eerily silent.
Right. That would just add so much creepiness to it.
Mm-hmm. Reality finally set in. I thought of how I'm going to go down to see if the driver was still alive. No, that had to be crazy. No one could have survived such an event. I suddenly realized that I was sore and bruised everywhere. Now my reality was coming back to me as I felt the wet blood on my forehead. I slowly moved my legs. Thank goodness I could still move them. I slowly tried each of my other appendages, hoping I was still in one piece from my fall. How many hours before? Judging by the sun, it appeared to be mid-afternoon. The last I could recall, it was 10:30 in the morning. After assessing I was still in one piece, I cleaned my glasses and began looking for a way to the floor of the valley. It wouldn't have been easy without a very long rope and some experience in rappelling. I had neither. I decided the best course of action would be to hike back out and get help. I had gone only about 10 feet into the dense underbrush when I heard and felt an unusually strong gust of wind. The forest was still unusually quiet. I decided to sit down and enjoy the breeze, hoping it would give me a brief moment of refreshing before I began my horrid march to get help. Whew! Told you this is a long one.
Take a breath.
As I sat in the dense brush, a large shadow came over my part of the forest. I gazed out, and as incredible as it may seem, I witnessed a large, purplish beast descend into the very spot where I, only moments earlier, had laid. It had with it another beast. It was battered and not moving. To my horror, I realized that this second beast was the object the truck driver had hit on the road. My first thought was to rush up to the beast and ask if it would help me discover if the truck driver was still alive. Obviously, I had not recovered from my head wound at this time. Fortunately, I regained my senses and decided not to go rushing up to the creature with my arms waving about. Enough about me. I'm sure the reader would like to know what this creature looked like. It was purple. Yes, I know you already have guessed from the earlier description, but when I say or write that it was purple, I mean it was really purple. Its skin, claws, hair, nostrils, everything about this creature was purple, like a bad Jimmy Osmond dream. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either, but I do have a question here.
Yeah.
Did it have one eye and one horn?
That took me a second. I was like...
Because if so, I know what it is. It's a flying purple people eater.
Right, a one-eyed purple
one-horned flying purple people eater.
Thank you. Oh my God.
That's going to be stuck in my head. You're welcome.
I know.
And to all you listening, I hope it's stuck in all your heads too.
It will be. I have known people who have disputed that there is such a color as purple, meaning that either purple is a shade of blue or shade of brown. If any of them were to witness this creature, they would understand that the color is purple. I couldn't describe it as a deep purple nor a dirty purple, only a purple in its purest form. So I guess if we're getting to the point of this, he's purple.
Yeah, I think we got it, guy.
Right? This creature stood about 15 feet high when it was sitting, hunched over in front of me. I later discovered that this creature would measure an easy 30 feet from head to bottom once it was airborne. I say bottom because it didn't really have a tail. The head of the animal was unusually small compared to its massive body. The beady purple eyes would remind anyone who has the misfortune of seeing them believe that this creature could be of the rattan family. What's that?
I have no idea.
I thought you were going to know. While other characteristics of the head also had many features of the rattan family, being of noteworthy comment, it is a long pointed ears from which protruded from the top of the creature's head. The nose was rather small. The most pronounced feature of the nose being its unusual color of purple. I believe this is the only creature in the world that has a purple nose. This guy can't get over it being purple.
No, not at all.
Like nothing else is seeming to bother him or make him feel uncomfortable.
Right.
Except
the giant 30-foot bat. Totally normal. But guys, it was purple.
Oh my God. The wingspan of the creature looked very small, as it couldn't fly with such a small wing surface. However, I later learned once the creature was airborne, the wings extended out to form a wingspan of a good 40 feet. The most disturbing feature of the large beast was its hands. It appeared to have 4 sets of hands. Perhaps I should clarify that to mean 2 sets of claw hands on the wings, about midway, and another set on the torso, almost as if it were human. I didn't notice the hands near the torso until another encounter with a large animal the next day. The creature was very frightening to look at and could almost be a cross between a large bat and an excessively large furry human. I believe that the most accurate description would be given by some of the local townsfolk, whom later had the misfortune of encountering this beast as naming it Bat Squatch. Well, perhaps I've mentioned too much. My worst fear is that I will be traced by my email address and somehow would know my location, thus making me a laughingstock of my community and ending my rather prestigious position within the city. If you would like to hear more of this story, you may email me. However, should you make any attempt to trace my email address, I will deny everything. The Believer.
Okay, I have a couple issues with this story right from the very beginning. How the hell did this guy fall off a cliff? What was he doing?
So that was because he then says that he had the only way he was going to get down from where he fell was if he had a long rope and rappelling skills, which he had neither. So what business do you have being there? And
also, we already know you have a head injury. Your glasses and your forehead are bloody. So how concussed is this man to have that much of a memory of these events?
Right. And then so also he gave, because clearly he is dumb because he doesn't want to be traced, but also said we could email him, which is just ignorant. But he didn't give any clear indication of like where he exactly was, because I did want to try to look up what type of semi-accidents were in there, like any logging accidents that would kind of sound like this. But I had nothing to go off of because he didn't give us a year.
And he's like, I'm going to go get help, but then doesn't get help, but sees the thing the next day again.
Yeah, that part threw me off because he didn't say anything about that. So I'm not really sure.
I'm emailing him. I need more details.
But I will say there are some things that I was like, okay, it's so weird that you would add these things in here. But I guess if you're a writer, you would have that imagination. So it's not like it's unrealistic. But some of the things kind of made sense in the aspect of there was some conflicting things like in other statements, right? Like he had a really long wingspan and then the one person said they had really short wings, but he said that they had short wings while he's standing, but they extended out long, like when he was flying.
And the first guy also said like they extended right before he took off.
That's true. But yeah, I read this and I'm like, I have to read all of this because it's just so...
It's almost too many details.
That's where I was saying. It's either you could go like, wow, it's like odd details and like things that most people wouldn't just think to put in here. Like the detail of like him thinking that he should go up to these creatures and be like, oh my God, let's go see if that semi guy. That's kind of like one of those where it's like, wow, you might actually in that panicked moment be like, maybe they could help.
Right.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because why would you just put that in here? That's so strange to me.
Yeah, that one's a little too like realistic. I feel that.
Right. So some of them, that's what I'm saying, are like where I could be like, oh yeah, this definitely could be. Now, there are some things that are added in here, like, you know, like the Power Ranger stuff and like whatever that like you could just be writing for like the theatrics of it.
Yeah.
So this could have happened and he's just being a little, or they are being a little bit more theatrical with it. I don't know. Okay. The one thing that I thought was really odd is that when you're diving into like cryptids and stuff, there's always like another story, right? There's usually like a backstory of what this actually is, or like, you know, theories and things like that, like what the non-believers think you're actually seeing. And I could not really find any alternatives that people think the Bat Squatch really is.
I got one for you.
So yeah, I was going to ask you, what do you think? If it's not the Bat Squatch, what do you think it is?
Well, it's obviously a sandhill crane.
Oh my God. Yeah, that makes so much sense. They're purple.
The same with every other flying cryptid. Sandhill cranes.
Sandhill cranes. Are there sandhill cranes in Washington?
I'm sure. I think they're kind of everywhere.
Yeah, so I was literally like trying every type of search, changing my verbiage to like try to get an article that like broke down, like, cause you know, everybody thinks that, you know, Mothman's a sandhill crane and, you know, Bigfoot's a freaking bear. And like, you know, everybody always has these like things that they can explain it away to. I couldn't really find it.
Apparently not in Washington. They're like, we just got Bat Squatch here. No other explanation.
I know. I couldn't really find anything that people thought Bat Squatch could be.
So do you have any like, are there more recent sightings? I guess 2011 is fairly recent, but... That's
the most recent one that I could find.
Okay. I want to go find Bat Squatch.
I know, I do too. Honestly, when I was shooting in the mountains when I was there, I'm not going to lie, I was looking for Bat Squatch. I was looking for anything. But yeah, I don't know what this could be if it wasn't Bat Squatch, if it's not a cryptid. I really don't have an idea of what people could have been seeing.
I mean, it is weird, like, over such a long period of time to have such corroborating stories, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's just Mothman's cousins. There's got to be, like, because there's other sightings that are Mothman-esque, too.
Right. So if we're not going cryptid and we're playing the other fields, I was trying really hard to think of what I thought it could be. And I just don't know. Because you figure it's at least, we'll say at least 9 feet tall. To this one guy said 30 feet. What a whack job.
Yeah, he hit his head real hard.
Well, he did. So we'll just go 9 to 15 feet tall. So what bird-like animal is 9 feet in length? That's beefy.
Oh, what are those ones with like they look like a dinosaur with that, like the big bill that looks down and...
A pelican?
No.
Oh, I do know what you're talking about.
They're blue too.
They're like prehistoric. Oh, you're right. Hold on.
Is it a shoebill? Yeah, it's a shoebill stork.
Okay.
I don't think they get 9 feet tall, but I know they get pretty big.
No.
Those are terrifying birds, though, if you've ever seen one. They will kill a human.
So, well, okay. So they say weighing from anywhere from 12 to 15 pounds and standing up to 5 feet tall with a wingspan of 8 feet. Okay.
But that's about like the biggest terrifying.
But I don't know, because the only reason that I would say no on that one is just because it has such a prominent beak, and these people are saying that it all had such a squishy little bat nose.
Right.
But that's a really
that
good
one, like the feathers even on that one almost look like gorilla hair.
They're that bluey purple.
Yeah.
So that is true. Okay, I guess if we're playing the other side of the field, we'll go with that. I think it's just a Bat Squatch, and the volcano erupted, ruined his home, and he kind of was like, all right.
Things probably live like deep within like probably like caves and mountains and stuff, you know?
Right, and they probably just live amongst their little family members, and they just don't bother anybody. And they didn't hurt anybody in any of these stories.
They have to have really bad vision, though, right? Like, how are these things getting hit by trucks and stuff left and right, or like landing on somebody's car and getting terrified?
Well, maybe they have just like their actual like bats. So bats have that sonar, right? Or it's like sonar. What's it called? Damn. Is it sonar?
It's similar to sonar.
Because they can't really see.
Is it hypersonic? What is a bat's hearing called?
I love bats, too. But it is like a sonar type thing. So maybe theirs just isn't as good as bats.
Echolocation.
Thank you. You think they would hear a semi, like, or feel the whatever semi.
Right. They just click at it.
I don't know. Well, that, my people, my little oddballs, is the Bat Squatch, which is fully real. Clearly.
I want to see Bat Squatch. I want to ask if he's related to the Mothman. I want to go out west. I'm on the hunt.
I think it would be like if Mothman and the Sasquatch had a baby, maybe. It would be a Bat Squatch.
Could you imagine that date? Oh, I'm picturing evil things. Okay.
Where would they have the date? In a cave? In the woods? Like a picnic in the woods?
Yeah, with maybe like a nice flyover of a good bridge.
Mm-hmm. Well, Sasquatch can't fly, so Mothman would have to... Do you think Mothman could pick up a Sasquatch?
Probably not. I mean, unless it's 30 feet long. Bat Squatch. I don't know. Interesting. I've never heard of Bat Squatch before, but I love him already. I
know, I have. There's not too many encounters of him, but the ones that you do get are pretty entertaining.
What's kind of funny, though, is like, okay, he's got like the same amount of sightings as the night crawlers.
Mm-hmm.
But how did like Bat Squatch not become super popular, but somehow the night crawlers do?
There's a Bat Squatch beer. I can't remember what brewery makes it, but I'm like, dang, I kind of want to try it now, even if I won't like it, I want to try it just because.
I hope it's kind of like purple colored.
I think it's. Why do I want to say the can was green? But that's stupid.
That wouldn't be Bat Squatchy at all.
Yeah, he's like green.
Oh, yeah, but that's kind of giving it like that comic book look.
It is, but he should definitely be purple.
I mean, it's a brewery. They don't have to be scientifically accurate to a mythological creature.
He's real.
Fair. Enough.
Okay, enough.
Cool. Well, good job. I think that's the first cryptid we've covered that I've never heard of before.
I'm so excited. Because I don't think puckwudgies are considered cryptids, but I will tell you about puckwudgies one time because you didn't know about them.
That is true.
Because I was in Washington and this is like their cryptid, I was like, I'll do a Bat Squatch.
And I got to nerd out and share some volcano facts. So
yes, you did. I knew you'd love that. I had to add all that stuff in there.
I don't know why. I got so sucked into it, and then I went down like the whole Yellowstone, like
oh god,
oh yeah. Volcanoes are terrifying.
Survivor stories.
Not even like the survival stories, but just like it's just a bunch of like geologists speculating on what would happen if Yellowstone blows, and it's like it's nothing but doom and gloom, but I get so sucked in.
Yeah, I don't want to know. We already live in doom and gloom. Alrighty, don't forget to subscribe. Rate us a review, please.
Yes,
we've kind of been slowed down on reviews, so if you find yourself coming back here, please subscribe wherever you listen. Give us a review; we'd really appreciate it. 5 stars if you love us.
And I am so sick of saying it. We are one story away from giving you a bonus episode. Somebody out there's got a story. I don't care what it is.
All right. Well, yeah. So do all those things for us. We appreciate you. Who told me I was pretty on Facebook?
Was that my aunt? I think my aunt did.
I think, was it your aunt?
Deborah Hashey.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was.
No, I
aunt.
don't remember. I think it was. All right. Well, those are the real ride or dies because they listen till the end. But most importantly, creep it real, oddballs.
Goodbye.
Bye.